Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire potential briefing for Saturday, July 18th. Thunderstorms through the weekend into next week. Most of the region debris flows will be a concern. Be a little breezy and drier in the western areas, but even there, moisture will be pushing in. Overall fire danger is steadily lessening across the area, especially in southern and eastern areas. You can see our latest fuel briefing on our webpage in our fuel section for the latest up-to-date information. Otherwise, impact map continues to show the monsoonal plume across at least the eastern two-thirds of our area, but still in that very warm, dry air mass in the western third, western half of Nevada into parts of western Idaho. But even there by Monday, the next moisture surge will come in a little stronger and a little further to the west. Our satellite imagery shows the continued moist air across the eastern half of the region. We see a lot of smoke from that lightning outbreak and the ensuing fires across the Pacific Northwest, and also some more moisture pushing up across the Sierra, staying across the high country, but a dry wedge of air continues across Nevada and parts of western Idaho. Quite a bit of lightning again across much of the area, perhaps not as much as the previous day, but a lot of it reached into, again, the eastern two-thirds of the area, and I would say it's probably 80% wet, 20% slightly dry, but new ignitions always happen when we have this much lightning. Precipitation, not including the last 24 hours, but over the 7 days, you can see these greens here, ½ to an inch of rain covering a large portion of the Arizona Strip, southwest Utah. Basically, most of the higher terrain in Utah has gotten some decent wetting rains, as have the Sierra and the central Nevada mountains and even parts of the Oakers, but it's spotty and hit and miss. There's almost equal amounts of areas that had just very little to no precipitation. Initial attack with that lightning is high. We even have them up here in our Idaho mountains near the Salmon River. We had 27 fires for over 1,300 acres. Large fires only growing about 1,500 acres. So where we have control efforts and the humidity is cooperating, the growth on a lot of our large incidents is slowing. The driest area, though, will be up in the Claremont. They're still in that not as moist pocket. You can see the ERC is kind of in a state of flux. What used to be our driest area is now our most moist across parts of the Arizona Strip and southwest Utah. But up in Idaho, you still see a lot of 80th to 90th percentiles. And you see the upward arrows up in the Salmon Chalice area and in the northern Sawtooth. That means the ERCs are continuing to rise and kind of moist in the northwest Nevada area for now, but they'll be drying out continuously. And so on the map, high pressure well over southeast Wyoming. So the clockwise flow bringing up that monsoonal moisture, which is in full swing. There's also an offshore low accentuating that moisture. But again, you see the deepest moisture across the eastern areas and more of a dry air mass across parts of Nevada. Now another surge of moisture with an offshore low pushes up Sunday, and then that pulls up even deeper monsoonal moisture. You see that train of deeper moisture targeted more on our western areas, which is good because they have been drying out pretty significantly. You see our 7-day maps below, kind of matching up with that. Day by day, no real significant winds. There could be some outflow boundaries from thunderstorms. That's what this orange and purple shade is. Otherwise, you see the dry humidities in our far western areas, 9 to 14%, but they gradually come up to 15 to 20% as you go into Monday, but still hanging dry in western Idaho. So that'll be a concern. That's where IA and recent lightning could pose a problem, and teens up there. So our dry area kind of pivots a little bit. Precipitation day by day, you can see eastern areas the first 2 days, and then starting to spread further westwards across Nevada on Monday. So continue to get that moisture. Days 4 through 6, the high pressure kind of still hanging well east of us, and that clockwise flow still pulling up monsoonal moisture in combination with an offshore low. This was a previous tropical system as it moves northwards. We'll have to watch for the possibility of maybe some more lightning up in the Pacific Northwest. You do see drier air by Wednesday and Thursday starting to push into Nevada. We'll have to watch that. But with the heavier rains coming in Tuesday, It's going to take several days of drying to really impact it. Probably the short-term impact will be more of a trend towards yellow in western Nevada and western Idaho before we start drying things out. See, the minimum humidity is more like 16 to 24% across lots of our western areas, and moistening up nicely across Idaho and staying moist where our large incidents are. A lot of these winds you see here, these are outflow boundaries from where there'll be clusters of thunderstorms just off to the left of them, so don't get concerned that this is a gradient wind. These are 15, 20-minute gusts that will occur during the peak heating hours. Precipitation, days 4 and 5. So that'll take us into early next week. And then as we go into day 6 and 7, which will be Thursday and Friday, we continue with that moisture. So the moisture train continues for the upcoming week. Here's our 7-day outlook through here, basically telling the story. Driest areas will be in our western regions, but even they will moisten up a little bit late in the period before they start to pivot and dry once again. And our 6 to 10-day outlook continues with the above normal temperatures because of the ridge of high pressure in place. Still a monsoonal push, although this could start waning a little bit towards the end of the period. We'll see how the computer models play, and that concludes our briefing.